All right, what's up, YouTube? My name is Z. If you're new here, and I've been training both calisthenics and weights for about 9.5 years now, and we're talking today about why you're not making progress with calisthenics. Number one reason is that your program sucks. Like, quite honestly, if you haven't seen any progress after a few weeks or even a few months, your program needs to change. You need to do some research, figure out like actually training methodology. Yes, at first, maybe like the first few weeks, especially if you're a complete beginner, you could just spam pull-ups, dips, push-ups, some sit-ups, and you'll absolutely get stronger. That is the concept of newbie gains. Your body's so new to working out that it will respond to any sort of stimuli, even if it's not the best. But in order, and yes, you could keep doing this for a year theoretically, but if you find that the progress you got in the first few weeks is stalling, or you're just not making it as fast as your rate, and you're still in your first year to 2 years, you really need to capitalize on those newbie gains. The way you do that is with the structured program. There's so many structured programs online between YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. There are like online schools for this. There are a lot of one-on-one coaching sessions, which I'll be starting in a few months, so stay tuned for that. But quite frankly, my number one guess of why your calisthenics is not making any progress is that your routine sucks. If you're training planche every single day, if you're going like 100% intensity every single day, you're doing something wrong. You have three main variables you manipulate in any training program, whether it's for calisthenics, weights, running, any type of sports, which is intensity, volume, and frequency. You can't have all three pillars at 100% the entire time. You need to rotate your level, the energy you put into all three of those pillars to actually have a balanced approach. So if you're doing a high intensity, then your volume and frequency will probably be lower. But if you're doing a lot of frequency and volume, then your intensity is going to be, very low. So you can play around with those three pillars and actually have an exercise selection that makes sense for you. And does that exercise selection is going to be specific to your goals that you're working towards? There are a lot of principles of fitness, so you just need to make sure that your training program is there. Reason number two that you're not making any progress is because you're trying to do all these cool, flashy moves that you see on Instagram, online, on social media, and you're simply not ready for it. Do not ignore your basics. If you can't even do 10 clean pull-ups, and you're able to do 10 clean pull-ups where you don't have to ask anyone, you don't have to post it online and be like, are these clean? You should know that they're clean undeniably without anyone confirming that for you, or you haven't posted on social media. That's when you know you have 10 clean pull-ups. If you can't do 10 clean pull-ups, then why are you trying to do a muscle up? There are levels to this. You gotta learn to walk before you can run. So are your basics in order? Are you able to do full range of motion dips? Well, if you can't do that, then you have no business learning handstand push-ups. And I'm sorry if this is harsh, but it is something I needed to hear when I was a beginner too. So this is me telling it to you. Make sure your basic strength is in order, and if you think they're good, you can even make them even stronger, and that'll make the skills a lot easier and faster to learn once you actually start doing that. Make your joints more resilient when you start doing straight arm training, etc. So your basics probably aren't strong enough. If you think they're strong, you need to ask yourself, if I ask someone, is 100% of the people I ask going to confirm that my form is good, these are clean reps, and I don't have anything more to give with the basics. So make sure that your basics are in order. Third reason, which is very similar to number one in terms of training program, is that you don't have a goal in mind. Say your main goal, your favorite skill that you see online, the one you really want to unlock first is the front lever. Well, then you need to be training your pulling strength, your back muscles. So, and if you're training like dips, handstand push-ups, and just, all sorts of push-up variations, then you're not aligning your training to your goals. So you really need to figure out a roadmap of this is where I want to end up, and now I need to work backwards to figure out where I need to go to achieve that end goal. If you want to get really good at handstands, like learn one-arm handstands, handstand flags, all these different variations, but you're not training your wall handstand, getting your shoulders, your wrists flexible, then you're doing something wrong. You really need to figure out an end goal so that your training program can be aligned and that your intensity and your basics can match to hit that goal. And reason number four is that you're scared of hypertrophy. Yes, calisthenics is the sport of relative strength, and that's usually easier to achieve when you're a lighter weight. But that being said, don't be scared of hypertrophy training, because a larger muscle at the end of the day is going to have more strength potential than a smaller muscle. I'm not telling you to start just training like a bodybuilder, absolutely not. But don't be scared of a little hypertrophy work at all. Don't be scared to gain a little bit of weight. A little bit of weight might actually be what's holding you back. yes, you still want to have your relative strength as high as possible. Notice I said relative strength. Notice I didn't just say be as lightweight as possible. You just need your relative strength to be as high as possible. If you want a more in-depth video on the difference between being a lightweight and having high relative strength, let me know. I'd be happy to make a video about that. But don't be scared of hypertrophy work. So really reflect on these 4 tips that I give you, whether you're skipping your hypertrophy work, whether you have an end goal in mind, whether you're skipping your basics or not doing enough basics, and if your training program is appropriate for you. I think you should take a look at these. If you're not seeing any progress in your training, let me know if you want to see a part 2 on this or specific examples of what I wish I was doing when I started training calisthenics 9 years ago. And you have any questions, the best way to reach out to me is in the comments down below, or send me a DM on Instagram at ZNA Calisthenics. Let me know what you think of this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.